episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and ooh, love that feeling of a grim, dark Wednesday. But before we get into that, if you enjoyed today's episode and maybe you want to support us, head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy HD digital form. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, supplementary information, please.
Indeed. Go ahead and check out orchid8.com. We have lots of great merch, including lots of the little guy shirts and hoodies. We've got dice. We've got the amazing Arsenal of Angels desk mat that I'm currently using at the moment, and I also have one at the office because they're mine and I can use them anywhere. Lots of great merch stuff. Check it out in the description. Also, we are doing, or going to get the episode out for our book club, is Horus Rising. Make sure you read Horus Rising. It is kind of a crime that we haven't yet, read it in general, but also we wait to the end anywho, because it's going to be fresh in the mind. But yeah, make sure you give it a read. I genuinely believe that good old Horus Rising, at least from what I've heard, is as good as it is like half the reason Warhammer is successful. Because when the first book of the,
most important event of Warhammer happens.
Yeah, the fact that it's good is very important. It's like Iron Man being so good as a film. Thank God for that, because if it wasn't, we probably wouldn't be here.
Yeah, how if Iron Man was bad, how could we have Avengers Doomsday?
Is that what it's called next?
Yeah, I think it's called Doomsday, and oh my God, he's back.
Listen, they had a wild 10 years, and it was a great 10 years. It had its ups, it had its downs, but it was a good 10 years.
Yeah, it's definitely on the downward trend though. So yeah,
I know, but you know what's not on the downward trend?
Warhammer,
no. Even despite the growing popularity of our fun little hobby and it's slowly encompassing a bit more of a mainstream environment, the quality of the writing has not gone down. It is still pretty good.
Yeah, most of the recent stuff, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. Many of the recent books have been very good. The general world is pretty good. And it has its usual problems, being that it's Warhammer and it's insane. But for the most part, it's we're sticking solid. And why not continue that chat and that trend by talking about something a bit more modern?
Ooh, a more modern Warhammer thing. Now, okay. I was about to ask: is this modern lore? Is this modern mini? What are we doing here?
I guess so. It's modern lore. I guess there is, in fact, a modern mini to go along with it, which is always neat. But yeah, I think for the most part, this is the best time for it all. And I do have a quote for you. I warn you, I will.
Damn it.
You won't get it. In general, you just won't get this one because it's not one that you know what this is. But it's a fun quote, so let's chat about
Dante,
it anyway.
Obviously, it's Dante and the service stud shaped penis on his forehead, and why he doesn't remove his mask because of it.
Blood Angels actually got a brand new miniature release today.
Oh, just today, really?
Well, a reveal.
Oh, what was it?
It's a new apothecary guy and a new captain, which is pretty funny because the captain image, it looks like it's literally the Chad meme. If you just take his face out.
Oh, wow, that is literally just the Chad meme.
It's just the Chad meme. They took away his nipples, though, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bricky. He doesn't have robo nipples anymore on his armor?
I mean, the whole, Dante angelic... I mean, if he's gonna have armor pecs and armor abs, can you at least keep the armor nipples?
Right. Also, I didn't realize how pronounced the wing on their armor was. That is a very pronounced wing on his shoulder.
Well, that's a captain, so he's a bit fancy.
Oh, okay, that's a captain thing. Okay. Okay, cool.
Anywho, not to get off topic too much. Here is the quote. It's from the opening of this little mini book thing.
Okay.
They say the despoiler fled. They say the monster took his minions and scurried away in fear. Why then does Saint's Haven still burn? Why has no word come from Dontoria for months? Why do nightmares still swarm the skies? They say the war is almost over, that the holy task of the Space Marines is concluded, and they now spread the Emperor's light to more distant worlds. Why then does darkness and horror close in evermore like a death shroud? Why does it feel as though they are leaving a lost cause and not a saved realm? They say the God Emperor's warriors killed all the orcs in the sprawl, threw them from the walls, and pounded those that remain in the wastes until death. Why them do few forces yet dare to cross that arid wilderness? Why do those that do never return? I could whisper a victory to the shades of my dead comrades, honoring their memory and sacrifice, but I cannot tell it to myself. Not when I know we are lost, not when I tremble through night after bloody night, not when the rift grows closer. Final journal entry of Lieutenant Asker Berengar, 125th Vigilant Guard, employed as post-sentence evidentiary item 34-LI in support of his execution for cowardice.
That last part is necessary.
The last part is so necessary.
For cowardice, it's so necessary. Oh my god, that's great. Yeah, I have no idea what this is about at all.
Honestly, I'm just happy that you're fine with saying it, because I knew you wouldn't get it, and it's just like it's all over the place.
Yeah, it seems like a some sort of chaosy thing, but then it also seems like a specific chapter thing, maybe. But yeah, I got nothing.
That's fine. It is an important thing in the world of the world to know when to give up and move on.
You gotta know when to hold them, know when to fold them.
Mm-hmm. So today we are doing another one of those little battle kind of supplementary book excerpts. This one is on the Nachmund Gauntlet, also known as the Nachmund War. Nachmund is spelled Nachmund. Nachmund.
Okay.
This is part 1 of 2 I wanted to chat about. It's not a particularly crazy thing, but it is good old. It's a fun little thing to chat about, and it's very recent. This is in late 9th edition. I actually remember, I think, buying this book.
Okay.
I don't know if I still have it, but I definitely bought the second version of it.
That's right. You said 2022, right?
I did.
Damn, that was like 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
Very recent.
But it is very, very recent, and it's a fun little topic to chat about because I think, fleshes out a bit more of the logistics and world that we're currently experiencing in the modern day Warhammer and all of its importance.
Okay.
So let's explain a little bit about what it is. We are starting off with the book Vigilus Alone, as a lot of this will take place on the planet of Vigilus.
Okay.
So the Nachmund Gauntlet. Let's chat about the Nachmund Gauntlet and what Vigilus is. Now, as I'm sure you are aware, Abaddon, kind of a Chad at times.
Sometimes, yeah, especially during 13th Black Crusades and stuff, he has a little bit of Chad behavior. He is on that Sigma male grind set, sure.
Love the single brain cell once again. I say Abaddon, kind of a Chad. Shy immediately posts a picture of Cadia broken. Yep,
well, I don't think that takes.
That's correct.
Like, that doesn't take a single brain cell to be like, oh yeah, Abaddon, and think, yes, Cadia being broken, right? I think everybody's mind immediately went there, right?
Yes, very much so. And during his incredible breaking of Cadia, he blew open the Eye of Terror and created the Cicatrix Maledictum, also known as the Great Rift.
That it is.
And as we know, with the Cicatrix Maledictum, any kind of communication and especially travel across this Great Rift is not impossible, but holy hell.
That's going to be a hell of a trip.
It is a hell of a trip. It's basically impossible.
You got to find one of those really kind of slim spots, right? Because you're not passing right through the middle. Nope.
No, definitely not. I mean, that's already like the galactic core. There's already its own issues.
You got to find a soft spot.
Yes, everyone, as Shai posted in this map, everyone in the dark area is boned to all hell.
Oh, yeah, they're super screwed.
And however, with this being said, and as we know, you can get some psychic signals in, but very, very few. It's really damn hard. Your head will probably explode. And as we know about the aspects of warp travel, traveling through the red area is basically like flying a plane through a thunderstorm, but the thunderstorm is alive and will eat you.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like flying it's like flying a plane through literally the worst conditions imaginable, and you shouldn't be flying now. Don't fly in these conditions. Land the plane.
And even worse than that, the conditions are not just nature; it is malevolent. The conditions, the weather hates you in particular.
And it has very sharp teeth.
It's very sharp teeth.
And it wants to eat you and consume everything you are. Yeah.
Exactly. And now this is also, I mean, you know this, but it might be, we should really have an episode on just like the logistics of warp travel. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
But traveling from one area to another area of space, because a lot of times people are like, why does having like various lines and defenses and areas of space matter? Because in reality, you're opening up a portal and just entering into a brand new area. Like in a sense, there shouldn't be like a blockade. You just kind of arrive, you know, like there's no stopping. But in reality, traveling in the warp and traveling in general in space does still take time. You know, it might be God knows however many thousands of light years away. Warp travel might make you take it in a week, whereas maybe it might take a month if you're a farther, you know, thing. And so you can maybe say go around the Great Rift.
It's going to take time, though. Like, you don't just
forever
snap around. Like, especially if you're, like, say, in the middle of the map-ish. And it's like, oh, yeah, just go all the way around to the east. Just go all the way around. Or it's like, oh, just go all the way around the west so you can go all the way back around to that one spot on the edge. It's like, okay, that's not realistic at all. Good luck. Hope you have fun. No.
It is very much like traveling in the ocean, but obviously with much more difficult issues, which is why, you know, certain planets can actually be bastion planets, because not only is the planet covered in guardsmen or defenses or whatever, but there are multiple other Imperial worlds near it, and their response time is therefore like 3 days. Yeah. And that's great, and that makes it a very strong part. Now, with that being said, this insane Cicatrix Maledictum really has ruined a lot of things and blocked off half the galaxy, except for 2 spots. There are technically 2 areas in the Great Rift that you can cross through. Now, if you would like to scroll up and look at that green version of the map, I would like you to take a look at about the not quite bottom right, but like middle right. You might see words that say Silurial Prime, Corinth, the Yimga Monolith. You might see, if you zoom in, 2 tiny little black dots that say Temporary Rift Corridor.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, if you hadn't have mentioned exactly where that was, I would not have seen that.
It is definitely a very tiny little spot there. That's one of them.
Oh, I see the other one up by the Bellus Corona.
Yes,
the other 2 little ones.
Do you see what's right above Bellus Corona?
Yeah, the Nachmund Gauntlet.
The Nachmund Gauntlet.
They chose a poor color font to put right on top of that green Cicatrix Maledictum part.
Yeah, putting a green font on top of the green warp storm was not a great call, no.
Yeah, that should have been like a red or a blue or something. But yeah, anyway, yeah, I see it. I see it.
Excellent. And if you look at this other map, you can notice this is the Nachmund Sub-Sector. And you can see that the ability to move through the Cicatrix Maledictum is very thin.
Yeah, just a little bit. little bit. Yeah, but hey, it is a way.
It is a way. And therefore, in order for the Imperium and many other races to do a decent job at keeping themselves alive in this area, it must be kept open. You need to Jonesy that thing? Jones? Goatsy. You need to goatsy that thing.
Oh, no. Oh, I was so much happier when I didn't understand what the fuck you were talking about.
I was struggling with the phrasing.
Like 10 seconds to just calling it Jonesy again and not the prolapsing meme. Oh, man.
Look at me looking at the Eye of Terror. Two of Abaddon's gauntlets pulling apart.
Oh no. The center of the Cicatrix Maledictum, just a goatsy meme. Oh, it's awful. Oh, it's terrible. Why would you do this?
It's pretty terrible, yeah.
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays. Gee.
I'm having listen, dude. I had my first like real intentional day off in like a decade yesterday. And I'm revitalized, brother.
Damn. Okay. So a revitalized Bricky gets us goatsy memes. Great.
A revitalized Bricky is pulling that shit apart.
I'm like,
brother.
Man, it's great that you had a day off, but like, ooh, man, can we go back to overworked Bricky if it means not getting the goatsy meme?
Damn. He wants me to cry.
Sorry, Bricky. It's good that you have days off.
I saw that shy. I saw the Jafif. I saw the epic embed fail.
Oh, did she epic embed failure?
I
Laugh
saw
at
it.
this user.
I saw it.
Okay, so Nachmund Gauntlet it needs to be kept open. Imperium needs to like keep it open, a la goatsy meme, so that they can travel back to and fro.
Hold on, I need to send this real quick.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, I'm done.
Nice.
Thank you. Nice. All right. So, correct. Yes, the Nachmund Gauntlet, very, very important. This shit needs to stay open. Mm-hmm. All right, like a Waffle House needs to stay open.
It doesn't.
Now, naturally, when this is a major bastion of the Imperium, as Chaos can more or less just kind of move in and out to and fro. You can go ahead and expect who might think this would be a great place to mess around in.
Oh, literally everybody, every force of chaos. Abaddon would probably think this is a nice little spot to lock down and go over humanity.
Correct. Yes. That's. I mean, you're actually just right in every single aspect. Turns out everyone wants to be a part of this pie. Particularly Abaddon, don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But basically everyone wants to be a part of this.
I mean, if they play their cards right, this just becomes a killing field, right? Because it's just like, oh yeah, let's put all of our chaos forces right in this little area where they have to come through. And it's like, well, good luck getting through. We're putting Bloodthirsters, we're putting Lords of Change, we're putting Great Unclean Ones in here. Have fun, Imperium, because you're not getting through.
Hell yeah, that is the official artwork of this Vigilus campaign, and as you can
they're
tell,
all there. Yeah,
they're all there.
They have stacked a few people in there. Yeah. Yep.
You can see on the bottom right-hand corner there is an Ultramarine getting his face blown off by a bolt pistol, and like the most hilarious looking aspect.
Oh, you love to see it.
You love to
see it. You love to see it.
Anywho, yes, so with all of that being said, it is the big man's time to do all the shenanigans. And we start off the Nachmund Gauntlet on the planet of Vigilus. Vigilus, if you look at the... I'm certain it's... Yeah, there it is. If you look at the map from earlier, it is on the top right. It is clearly, evidently, the main choke point entering in the safe ley line of travel.
Okay. Vigilus, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. You might also, there's a little legend on the bottom right that says Tides of the Imperium. It says estimates the Great Rift's danger, which is like, you can see the white areas are Alfarum, real space, and then there's like some slight fluctuations and then some other weirdness going on there. And then, of course, the black is the Maledictum, and it's literally got faces.
Yeah.
But Vigilus and the Vigilus
does
system
literally have faces.
And the Vigilus system is the main point. So most of our stuff is happening on Vigilus. Now, there's whispers of why this area of Nachmund and the Vigilus Gauntlet, or Nachmund Gauntlet and Vigilus, is working out. The main theory is that for some reason it's stable due to these weird pylons all around it. So chalk another dub up for our boys in silver.
Yeah, I was gonna say more Necron shenanigans, huh? Okay.
Our boys
also,
in
how I don't know. You're probably going to explain this, but how exactly are they keeping this little roadway, this gauntlet open? Like, because you said they have to like goatsy it, so they must be doing something to like keep this thing pried open, or is it just a naturally occurring like gauntlet that just?
Oh no, I'm saying they have to goatsy it because they need to, like, it's a good thing to keep it open. They're not okay. You maybe took that a little literally. They're not actually goatseeing it open. It happens to be open, most likely due to those Necron pylons keeping it open.
Oh, I thought you meant things in Vigilus were stable because, like, oh yeah, we might be that close to the Cicatrix Maledictum, but we're not all lost because the pylons are keeping Vigilus open. I didn't realize that's what was probably keeping the gauntlet.
That's what I said.
Well, you know what? I didn't hear it right because I didn't get much sleep last night. So let's just move on and pretend like I didn't say that.
There's a giant rift in the galaxy. This part is slightly open thanks to some Necron pylons. Therefore, the Imperium needs to make sure this place is clear and open because it's super important. Therefore, they will, using the forces of military might, goatsy it.
Right. Gotcha.
Excellent. Cool. We are not goatseeing it from the warp. We are goatseeing it in terms of a safe area to travel. We are stationing guards. We are using forge worlds and fortress worlds, and we are keeping people out.
Okay, cool.
Now,
Cool.
With that being said, however, Vigilus is clearly in a spot that's not very good because this is post Cicatrix Maledictum. So the war has arrived and come to Vigilus. And it starts, like it always does, with orcs.
Of course. Gotta have the greenskins.
Orcs, huge dub. The orcs decide to immediately invade because they're just felt like it, because they're orcs, they don't need a reason. And decide to slam down on the planet with a massive volume of their own ships, killing about half of them. And by half of them, as in their own like, orcs.
People. Yeah.
And I guess a lot of humans, but you know.
Yeah, but orcs don't care. It's fun.
Orcs don't care. Classic orc dub. Yeah. Orcs smash into there with a massive volume of, you know, funny orc vessels, space hulks, and the like, and immediately them start attacking them with lots of speed freaks. They're pretty big, I believe, on the Red Goes Fasta in this group, because in Vigilus, as also posted above, there are, on the planet one that is, there are lots of like hive sprawls. You could see there you've got Storval, Dontoria hive sprawl, Mega Borealis with that giant city poking out. Etc. And then you might also notice a large area of orc spots like Fort Daka and Scumtown and Daweel Hub.
Yeah, those are a little orky, sure. Yeah.
So the orcs set out, because those are the wastes. And in the wastes, the orcs have, for the most part, taken it over and are constantly sending out speed freak things to, you know, crump some humies.
As they do, as orcs do, sure.
As the humans set up their defenses to stop them and maintain all of their hive cities away from the green skin menace, the orcs will then very often take different versions of their own cities to turn into more mechs or loot the tanks that are sent out to attack them, and then turn them into also more mechs, because these are orcs.
Of course.
Now, the ongoing greenskin invasion has decided to wake up a very specific group of individuals directly underneath Vigilus. These are the Pauper Princes. Are you familiar with the Pauper Princes, DK? Do you remember who these are?
Oh, that sounds so familiar. I feel like we have talked about them, and I should know them, but I do not remember them.
That is fine. The Pauper Princes are a side sect of the Gene Stealer cults.
Oh, yeah, we totally did talk about them.
It's a specific name of a Gene Stealer cult. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If I told you what Styges 8 was, would you know what that is? No, it's a random.
Of course,
it's an
I
Admech
would.
Forge world. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say for the people, you should remind them because obviously I would remember, but just for the fans at home that maybe aren't as in the know as I am, you know.
He hit me with the Emperor's Legion of the third Legion. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, so the Gene Stealer cults have had and prepared for a 2 full century long uprising, or as they often say, a plan generations in the making.
Yeah.
And this Gene Stealer cult invasion has sprung up beneath Vigilus and attacked most of their hive cities. Now, that blows.
Yeah, so they have an orc incursion where orcs slam down into them, and they have the Gene Stealer cult uprising that just happens to happen on the same time span.
Basically, and
Ouch.
That sucks, right? That's pretty awful.
Yep.
It would be like really bad if for some reason, in addition to that, the polar regions of the planet were then considered to be a great spot for Drukhari raiding.
And that's exactly what happens, isn't it?
And that, I mean, listen, those slaves aren't going to take themselves.
Yeah, it's true. Those slaves aren't just going to walk themselves to Kamara and do my bidding and get into the gladiatorial pits. Like,
Yeah, let's
put in the legwork. Light work. A lightweight baby. Lightweight baby. Easy work.
Easy. So yeah, they decide to steal everyone from that, of course.
Of course.
Lovely stuff. Now that really bad. So demons arrive.
As they do. Everybody just arrives at the same time, huh? Orcs show up, Gene Stealer uprising, Drukhari are like, oh, we need to replenish the slave stocks, and then demons are just like, oh, well, why, if everybody else is here, why not us? And they just kind of join the party. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's very simple. The demons then arrive and they start to send out Nurgle's blessing. Poxwalkers start to roam the hive cities. The Death Guard Marines are seen spreading pestilence and issues. And, if that wasn't bad enough, the Eldar have then arrived as they have noticed the presence of Chaos Space Marines and are like, this is not going great and we should probably stop this.
Yeah. Well, hey, at least the Eldar show, like, what, I'm assuming just Craft World shows up and they're like, hey, this is bad. And so them showing up, not the worst thing, right?
Well, normally them showing up would be the worst thing because Eldar, much like humanity, doesn't much care for the survival of other races and care much more for themselves.
True, but they have plenty of other targets other than humans, so it's like, maybe we're okay, maybe we'll be all right.
Well, that kind of might be important later. So Vigilus here has is being beset by chaos in a very important area. Has Gene Stealer cult invasions arriving. Orcs have landed. The Drukhari are taking raiders. Death Guard have arrived, and the Eldar are there to be Eldar. It's not poggers.
No, this is as not poggers as it gets. This is what is the anti-pogger saying for Zoomers these days? What's the
-100 aura?
That is very true. That is the new one. It's got minus aura for sure. You're right. Yeah, good call.
It's got huge drops in aura.
Oh yeah, massive.
So
infinite.
Because of that, not actually because of that, but at this point, things are pretty bad. And so, naturally, the most important people in the world need to show up. We need to bring out the Ultramarines.
Of course we do. As soon as you said the most important people in the universe need to show up, I was like, okay, here comes the Codex Astartes.
A couple Ultramarines were chilling around, and they found 2 very important people in the Chaos Sphere. The first one was Vorash Soulflayer. Vorash Soulflayer was making Noctilith crowns all across the planet. Now, the Noctilith crown, and I believe a little bit of this supplement, I guess, kind of has this, I don't know how to describe it yet. Well, no, I know how to describe it. I don't know how to name it. Basically, GW has this thing where when they release new minis, they very often center their stories around those minis and mention them at, like, a lot. Mm-hmm. So the Noctilith crown was a brand new fortification that you could bring for Chaos Space Marines. And this fortification is, just very, very cool.
Okay, so it's a Noctith. Is it an actual crown, or is that just like a name for, like, you said it was a fortification, right?
Yes. So Shai, I'm sure you will have a picture of the Noctilith crown. There it is.
Oh, that looks like a very chaosy portal.
Yes, they're specifically referring to that.
Oh, yes, okay, that's pretty cool.
It is the Noctilith crown. You can actually purchase that, and it is a fun little miniature that allows you to just make it creepy stuff and, like, make a locus of grossness. But basically, it's kind of like a chaosy portal.
Mm-hmm. Looks nothing like a crown, though.
I mean, if you put it to its side and put it on your head.
Well, yeah, I guess, but then essentially you've got, like, a cowboy fitting hat thing.
A crown? What about a crown of thorns? Yeah.
Fine.
You lose, sir.
Yeah, whatever.
All right. So he's making up Noctilith crowns, and our good friend Harold World Claimer is also chilling. As
Harry!
Good old Harry is leading his raptors and flying around to the high spires of these hive cities and slaughtering all of the nobles.
Yes, let's go. Love me a good jump jet. Let's go. Good for you, Harry.
Let's go, Harry. Eat the rich. Let's go.
Yes,
kill those people up top. Let's go.
Yeah, my man. Let's go.
Proudly proclaiming that this world belongs to Abaddon, as he is, in fact, the World Claimer. He is the Herald of Destruction. And with this, Abaddon arrives to the system. Big man, big ship, like, I'm gonna mess you up.
It actually gets worse, because now Abby's here too.
It gets always worse,
Yep.
Incredibly worse.
It is 40K.
It is indeed 40K. Now, Abaddon arrives, and that's actually not much to talk about in the beginning. He arrives on the Vengeful Spirit, starts causing problems real quick.
I bet. Does he just do it from the Vengeful Spirit, or is he actually going down, boots to the ground, and being like, "Oh, let's stretch the old legs and use my old"? Because he has a very fancy sword, doesn't he have like a glowing purple sword or some nonsense?
Okay, there's a lot of things we got to talk about here. One, clearly he's on the ground. The photo above literally shows him on the ground.
I didn't see that photo. Well, I guess that one photo.
Yes, you absolutely did.
There was that was that one photo that we thought was really cool, and I guess that is him up there.
He is on the ground.
That's true. Well, I could listen.
Secondly, how can you forget about Draconian, the first ever murder into put into a sword?
That's right. Oh no! Listen.
Oh no!
Not a lot of sleep was had last night. Okay, I'm running on fumes a little bit. I'm happy that I'm. Yes, it's just last night was particularly bad.
Holy.
So anyway, Abaddon boots on the ground. He's got his cool first murder sword and his big claw, and he's just murdering everyone. Right.
I specifically said not much to talk about in relation to the point where there isn't a whole lot of lore discussion here. But I will say there is much to state in terms of what's going on because, the Vengeful Spirit is here, and that ship alone is basically worth an army.
Sure.
Because it is the
figured
Vengeful Spirit.
when he first showed up, he would just kind of be chilling on the Vengeful Spirit and just orbital bombardment.
I mean, he does like his orbital bombardment, but
right,
yeah.
He doesn't have any Blackstone fortresses to throw, but we do like a good bombing.
The goal is to exterminate the entire planet because this is the main center point that's allowing the Imperium to head on through, and destroying it would be really, really good.
Sure.
He is snipping the rope in the tug of war.
Yeah.
Now, in order to deal with this, Big Boy Blueberry himself, Top Chad, Giga Dick, Marnius Calgar, Shy, I'm sure you have the image of him with like all dripped out, looking like a rapper. It's a very good one. Yep. Has arrived down to help defend the planet and help defend just in general the entirety of what Abaddon is doing.
All right.
So the main thing that happens instead, however, is Calgar, in an incredible amount of forethought, decides to strike a deal with the Eldar.
Wow. Okay. Well, I guess it's not unheard of for humans and Eldar to strike deals in times of great strife and everything. So yeah.
Oh no, Shy doesn't have the non-meme.
Wow.
version?
Even I've seen the meme one. Shy, how do you really?
I gotta find it. It's somewhere.
Shy has it buried in her folder somewhere. Of this, I have no doubt. Because, like I said, I've seen it. Like, there's no way it's not in your repertoire of memes.
He has the New York, the Yankee. He has like the Yankee no brim or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
She definitely has. Oh yeah, yep.
Anyway, Calgar strikes a deal with the Eldar. And the Eldar, they make a plan where fighting Abaddon down on the surface will keep a distraction for the most part, while the Eldar load up one of their ships with an unfathomable amount of bombs.
Okay.
That's true. That is true. I guess at this point, it is somewhat okay for him to strike a deal with the Eldar because they did just revive Guilliman. So I guess that's a little less cringe.
Yeah, and Guilliman is impregnating Yvraine, so we can give it a pass, right?
Shut your ass.
So they've made a pact.
Of all the verbs, like couldn't you have just said banging or like? No. You had to do impregnate, you freak. I had to.
It wouldn't get this kind of reaction out of you if I just said something like, "Oh yeah, Roberta Gilman's poking your brain." Like that wouldn't make you.
I was fine with the goatsy. Goatsy was okay. Now you're taking it too far.
I had to get you back for it.
So anyway, he does end up sneaking a bunch of warp bombs on the Eldar ship. And so Abaddon and him duel as they do on the ground and beat each other up. Unfortunately for Calgar, Abaddon is like basically Primarch level at this point because he is so roided to the gills with Chaos Soup and Chaos Tren that he gets his ass basically whooped. Both of his hearts get split open. Bad news bears for Calgar. However, the Eldar, thanks to their incredibly good stealth technology and that stuff, end up sending the ship right next to Abaddon's vengeful spirit before they can react to it and detonating all of their bombs.
Ooh, okay.
This giant warp explosion basically rents the Terran reality and all these other torpedoes and stuff and kind of just like eats a major portion of the vengeful spirit.
Okay. Wow, it doesn't just straight up destroy it. It eats just a chunk of it. Just leaves a big like dent in it, just a big hull breach.
I wish I could like genuinely express the insanity that is the vengeful spirit as a ship. Like, it is arguably the largest, most powerful ship in 40K currently that doesn't, except for, I don't know, like, the Imperial fist, like, phalanx. Outside of, like, other meme options.
Phalanx, maybe, but, like, But, like, still, they loaded well, I guess, so what Eldar ship did they load up? They didn't load up, like, a craft world, obviously. They didn't sacrifice a continental ship. But, like, it just seems like so many warp bombs, you'd think it would, well, I don't know.
Like outside of like Blackstone Fortresses and other kind of meme level ships, probably some Necron stuff. The Vengeful Spirit, I would argue, is like the largest, most powerful, just battleship style ship. I don't know, traditional looking ship out there. And they loaded up something. I think they called it Vol's Honor or Vol's something like that, out of the name of the Eldar god of like smithing, and that kind of stuff. And it was just like a stealth ship that they just rolled up unstealth and went kaboosh.
Okay.
So this harms the Vengeful Spirit insanely, but the Vengeful Spirit is basically alive at this point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, think of how long. So this Vengeful Spirit was Horus's flagship.
Right. Yeah.
Right. This is where the Emperor dueled him on the Vengeful Spirit. And so this thing is just astronomical, but a giant chunk of it got ripped apart and was getting attacked by warp energies from the bomb. And this caused an immediate emergency warp translation by the helmsman and forced Abaddon to very quickly, as they were transporting, teleport off from the ground back into his ship.
Yep, because he doesn't want to get stranded on the planet. Sure.
There is a very funny excerpt where he re-entered the Vengeful Spirit, and he's walking through the ship as it's like being fixed up and all that kind of things. He knew the ship would survive. Its malicious spirit at its heart is almost as stubborn as he was, but he was just like really mad that the shipmaster Krogan decided to do an emergency warp translation without him on it. Like, he was just furious about it.
As well he should have been. He almost got left behind. There's a ship left without him, almost.
It's very funny, but I like the fact that he strolls into the command sanctum and he finds the shipmaster skinned alive and hung off from the ceiling by the other crewmates as a way to be like, hey, we know he did wrong. We did it for you. Like, thank you. Yeah. And Abaddon's like, part in it. Yeah, Abaddon's like, damn. You know what? You guys were right. Good job. And so he killed them all, but he did it like he did it like swiftly, so they didn't suffer.
Oh, well, how gracious of him. What a benevolent ruler. Oh, wow. At least they didn't suffer. It's like, oh, we didn't do it. It was all him. What do you want from me?
Abaddon rewarded their belated loyalty by ordering their swift deaths before retaking his seat upon the enormous command dais.
Well, hey, to be fair, they're all chaos worshippers, right? So they'll just their souls will go screaming back to the warp, and they'll get over it eventually, right?
I mean, Abaddon is our villain. Is like,
yeah,
I will, I will kill you last, whatever kind of thing. Or in this case, I will kill you first.
Yeah, I would make it swift and painless.
Yes,
out the edge.
So anyway, Abaddon bailed, and that's after this is where that little excerpt I mentioned, which is like they say the spoiler fled, but why is it still them?
Right.
Because for the most part, people assume Marneus Calgar is dead. He's not dead, but a lot of them basically assume he's just dead.
Sure, he got absolutely worked. He's on the brink, at least, right?
Right, or well, like a lot of the populace. Unfortunately, the populace themselves on this planet are not doing super hot, because unfortunately everything else is like still here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it's a little relief that at least Abaddon and the Black Legion aren't there, but okay, cool. You've still got orcs, you've still got Drukhari, you've still got Gene Stealer cult. You're still kind of screwed. Right? Like, it's just, oh boy, one less thing to eat me.
So, well,
better, air quotes?
I guess a little bit. Yeah, so GSC are still there. The Noctilith crowns are still there. The Chaos sects are still there. And the orcs are still there. His withdrawal really didn't mean much. Everything kind of just kept coming for Vigilus.
Yeah, still getting absolutely wrecked.
So basically, there are a lot of little individual battles that they cover here. A lot of it is extensive underground fighting, dealing with the honeycombed mines underneath Vigilus, demons spawning, volcanic activity. Eventually, the only area with any usable water on the planet was the polar ice caps of Calyx Bane in the south, which was not great because then the Imperium, as they do, pushed their ice miners to the absolute brink of exhaustion and mental anguish, leading for lots of them to run away to either the Chaos cults for salvation or the Pauper Princes for salvation.
Oh boy, as you do, because the Empire, they don't quite understand that they are actively the way they are. They're pushing people towards chaos because if you abuse them and make their life hell, it's like, well, chaos can't be that much worse, right?
Legasp, DK,
yeah,
the Empire.
I mean, the Imperium.
He's fantasy pilled.
Oh no, I've become fantasy pilled. Oh, God.
He's truly fantasy pilled.
And then when we were talking about the Skaven, I said the Imperium a few times, and everybody's like, no, not here. Not in fantasy.
Not
That's
again.
The Empire of Man. And it's like, God, I can't win.
He can't win.
I can't win.
Along with all the stuff going down beneath the wastes, all of the old ships that were on the wastes, from the orcs, that is, were then turned into those giant mega cities you notice there, constantly sending out various other orc raiding bands because they're in the waste and they can do that.
Sure.
Which is very funny. However, slowly, and then this is kind of the part where like it's like 9 different little things going one by one, but slowly more reinforcements arrived to Vigilus because this was a 9th edition little supplement. The sisters, I believe, just got their codex, so a large amount of the Bloody Rose systems arrived after attempting to save a planet that was eaten by the warp. It did not work out well for them. And so they arrived, and their main reasoning was to drive back the Chaos Space Marines from the cities back out into the wastes. And from here, our main character arrives, which is unfortunate because we're not going to chat much about it, probably for like 15 more minutes. But this is Mr. Erasmus Cartavolnus. Yes.
Ah, yes. Sure.
You know Erasmus Cartavolnus, don't you?
Of course I do, but again, what, Matt, the poor fans, listeners, how could they know who that is? And so for their benefit, Bricky, not mine, who is this?
Yeah, this guy has never shown up except for this book.
Oh, okay. I thought it was getting played a little bit. I thought this was another, DK doesn't remember thing Bricky has told him about. Okay, cool. Then for all of our sakes, who the fuck is this?
Haha, subversion.
You're on your A game today, pal.
I'm doing my best. Anyhow, this is an Inquisitor. An Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus. Shai, do you have that image of him? Yeah, he's a baller.
Whoa.
Yeah, so
damn, he looks like he should be an AdMech.
He's got a vibe. Yeah, he's got a vibe to him.
Also, is he torturing that guy that's kneeled before him that looks like he's like, I don't know, spitting up a bolt of lightning or like a little ball of lightning? What the hell's happened to that poor guy?
No, his hands and feet are just chained for no reason.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I just noticed the absolutely wild look on his face and him spitting up warp energy or something. Like, what is happening to that guy?
Yeah, he's getting tortured quite badly. Quite the dude. So, Ordo Malleus Inquisitor Erasmus Cartavolnus has arrived here because he himself is quite the Puritan. He is a dread Inquisitor. He specializes in tracking down demons, traitors, and artifacts that weaken the boundary between real space and the warp. He doesn't
have to look too hard here.
No, he doesn't.
It's all over the place, buddy. Take your pick.
He is quite the Puritan. No demon hosts. He got a custom mini that it was a limited time mini, which is like pretty dope as fuck.
I'm pretty sure other swords have said this, but I never get over the fact that their sword literally has Exterminatus written on it.
Yeah, that mini it was a short-term release mini, but he looks awesome.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, and he's a psyker, clearly, and he's torturing the dude with his powers.
Yeah.
But yes, he is a major Puritan. No demon hosts, no possessed artifacts. He often hunts down other radical members of his Ordo he does not like. He's a real kind soul.
Yeah, I bet, yeah. So he obviously does not get along well with like the Ordo Xenos or anything. Like I assume they have as little contact with each other as possible.
I think it's less about that. In fact, the thing about him is that he's quite the repository for knowledge. Cursed knowledge, sure. Xenos knowledge often as well. But whatever allows him to destroy the demon that isn't a radicalized variant of it.
Okay.
Like he knows a psyker and stuff. He often has like hexes to put on demons and stuff to like banish them.
Got you. Okay, got you. So it's just anything that'll help him destroy a radicalized demon, whatever. It's not that he just hates anyone that touches or is like it's just, I need help killing demons faster and stuff.
Yeah, he's very much a Puritan in the terms of the Ordo Malleus section, where he doesn't like mess with cursed artifacts and stuff.
Yeah.
But he'll find his way to be able to properly use his fancy book to activate like a rite of unbinding and stuff.
Okay. But yeah, he's not going to go like furious and just go on a killing rampage because the Ordo Xenos was like using some host or something.
That's actually a cool thing that Shai mentioned. Yeah, so one of his arms is robotic. The reason for this is that on this is a side note on the from Nachmund. On Agrafar, he battled a mutated sorcerer named Grolgafax, which was a cult dedicated to Nurgle. And what the dude would do is he would swallow rune-marked slaves whole and consume gallons of tainted concoctions, which then created a miniature warp fissure within his own belly.
Wow. That is a lot.
It's a lot. Now, Carta-Volnus has this really cool bodyguard called the Black Iconoclasts, which are like Tempestus Scions and various other Militarum guys that are just hyper mental of faith and like super clear of mind. But when he fought that dude, he cut their head off with his force sword and then reached into his throat, down to his stomach, chanting a damnation, a quote unquote hexorcism, to clamp shut the warp portal from inside his body. But his arm was then covered in Nurgle's rot, so he hacked that shit off. And you know.
Yeah, even if you weren't like devout, it's like, oh god, my arm is covered in Nurgle shit. Yeah, you got to go. You got to amputate that. Even if you aren't just like, oh, I just don't like demons. Like you don't want that Nurgle juice running up your arm's got to go.
It's a reminder to him of the importance of his work and the sacrifices he must make to the God Emperor.
Wow, that's pretty. Yeah.
No, he's kind of Chad, despite the part where he's like, an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
So when he arrives to Nachmund, he does it the usual Inquisitor way. He mentions there's an Inquisitor arriving, but he kind of keeps himself in the shadows, going around, figuring out what's going on, because he's looking for the rest of the Noctilith crowns.
Right.
He knows there's like a big spider web of crowns all up and around the area, and he needs to shut them off. I'm going to skip past a few of these parts because for the most part, it's a lot of like, he gathered Astra Militarum and Sororitas and led a pincer attack against the demons and the Masters of Possession and was able to shut down a Noctilith crown. Yay.
Hooray.
Great stuff. I will say, one of the parts that I found that made him just such a joyous guy to be around was when the Imperial forces were within Storvale, which I believe is one of the Hive cities. Let me double check the map.
Mm-hmm. It's
there it is.
It looks pretty big.
Yeah, not as big as the rest, but yeah, Storvale.
Yeah.
They were in heavy disarray for the most part, and so because of that, he had his acolytes fashion a bunch of torture devices, with, as these says, servo blades, neural shriveners, and psychotrauma amplifiers, grabbed the nearest officers he could find, just random officers, and threw them in them.
Oh.
And then transmitted their wretched screaming across the planet and mostly to the rest of Stormvale.
Yeah, like as you said, truly he sounds like a joy to be around. Truly.
He had a little curse in him, apparently.
Yeah, just a little curse where he's just, you gotta test the torture devices, right? You gotta make sure And then, hey, now that they're screaming, we got to put that to good use. So, a little warning,
Yeah. He says the wretches in his torture engine, he told the Imperial defenders, were not exemplars of mankind. If they were, they would already be leading their armies to victory in Storval. If the noble Marnius Calgar had sacrificed his very life for victory on this world, the Inquisitor roared, then by what right did lesser servants of the God Emperor offer any less sacrifice? It says, Cardivaldus' sinister actions, terrifying presence, and castigating words whipped up the ragtag forces before him into a fearful frenzy. He did not offer them with salvation, mercy, or even victory. With excruciating clarity, he offered the hospitality of the Inquisition to every living soul in Storval if they did not follow him.
The hospitality of the Inquisition is a great way to put it, actually. But yeah, boy, lovely guy. It's like, Calgar was willing to die. Why aren't you?
You know, Shai, you say you'd rather be around him than Drukhari, Orcs, Chaos Demons, Plague Marines, or Tyranid cultists. I may put a point on the Tyranid cultists in this one. Minimum.
Yeah.
The rest I agree with.
Yeah, that's true.
I may enter the soup at one point, but I think that might actually be a longer life than in his service.
Yeah, the author's thinly veiled fetish is shining through once more.
Listen, it's the GSC. All right, they got their own stuff going on.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. So with that, he was able to gather a solid ragtag group of Imperials, lead over, and start taking down the followers of the Dark Gods one by one and their Noctilith crowns from Stormval. And that was kind of the real beginning of the taking back of Vigilus, when things started to really do well.
Okay, so he led by fear, did it well, took down the crowns, and he's making progress. Progress is being made. Things are maybe looking a little better.
This is the start of reclaiming Nachmund, the big start. But this might be. I know we're actually not fully done with this book yet, but this might be a solid point to stop because we got some new folks coming. And the second book of this Nachmund thing is not as intensive, and it might be a neat part to kind of like, we spent a lot of time chatting about all the individualized parts of what Nachmund is and the area. I think we set the stage pretty well, and I don't want to go too far over the hour. So, Shai, what are your thoughts on cutting it here and then moving on to it with the next episode? Because next we're going to get Space Marines. And a few other important folks. As in some very important folks.
Shai said it makes sense.
All right. Let's go.
So some new folks show up, huh? More people for the party. I think we're all having a good time here at the Goatsy party.
Maybe I got a little more Gilliman in me than I originally expected. I liked chatting about the various importances of, that section of Nachmund and making sure it's stable and all those other things.
Yeah, but Gilliman would be proud of your economic skills.
Let's not go with skills.
Well, your willingness to go into it.
Nunchuck skills, computer hacking skills.
Yeah, he'd be happy with how well you do spreadsheets and stuff.
I actually don't really do many spreadsheets. I'm more of like a note taker.
Huh, I would have taken you for a spreadsheet guy and a note taker. I would have taken you for both.
You know what? I disagree. There's one thing that I'm spreading right now. It's the Nachmund Gauntlet.
I was going to say, you're definitely not spreading the sheets, eh? Those sheets are staying on the bed. Got him. All
right, Shai. End the episode. Let's kill him.